Welcome to another live. Thanks for being here. Thanks for spending the night with us. A little bit of housekeeping before I introduce our lovely guest. So you'll have seen that the next live that'll be in 2 weeks, we've had a bit of a topic change. The guest that we were going to have on that show had to reschedule, but we're going to have a different guest on. So Dali, Wolf Girl Oracle, is going to be on. We're going to be talking about the Norse pantheon, so the gods, goddesses in the Norse mythology. And then the last show of the year is going to be a Yule show, and I have a couple of special guests that are going to be on for that show. So I'm excited. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce that way, JJ. On TUTAH Speaks. So I told her to tell a little bit about herself. So
yes,
go ahead.
I'm super excited to be here. I feel like we're all inviting our own personal dragons for this party, and it's like if this was a little kids theme party, our little inner kiddos would be like dragons. But my name is JJ. I've been having so much fun with the spirit stuff, and it didn't come out until I was older. Even though, knowing what I know now and like looking back on my life, I'm like, oh, that's why, A, B, and C happened. But yeah, later in my life, I had some physical issues, and come to find out as I was heading to the Arkansas, to the Ozark Mountains for a job. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was having heart issues. Ended up in an ambulance, transfer and whatnot from one hospital to another, and figuring out my heart. And it just had an irregular heartbeat. And I also had, for the very first time for my business, when I was leaving home, I had this feeling of I don't want to leave home, which is my feeling anyways when I was leaving, because it's always going on the road for like a season, and I'm a homebody, so that's my usual feeling. But I know that I was prepared. I'd done it many times. I think our business, we'd had it for like 16 years at that point, and my heart was going crazy. I couldn't stop crying. I reached out to somebody, and they said that I was experiencing a past life about the Trail of Tears. And so I looked up the Trail of Tears, and there was like, they moved me from one small hospital to the bigger one, which was like where more crossings happened. So that was in the beginning of 2014, in the spring. And then by the time Christmas came around, December, I was in Sedona, and I was releasing the grief, releasing the frog in my throat. Literally.
Those darn frogs.
I was releasing the dragon in my throat. But when I was releasing the grief with my friend Adele, she was just like, your people, your people are happy. They're right here, and they're returning. And just, they want you to let go of the grief. It's like, it's not yours to hold on to anymore. Just release it. And when I released it, this language came out of me, and it had sign language. And I've been practicing ever since 2014. I had this really amazing group of people when I returned home that I was already doing Reiki with. I was a student of Reiki. I found my spiritual people, and we found out that it had healing properties. So so that's what I've been doing.
I don't know about you, but I know, like, my teacher, and with me too, like, Reiki is almost like a gateway drug.
It is.
It's what
that's what I call it. It's a gateway drug. Yes.
Yeah, you start doing it, and then just everything else just comes. Like, it's like opening the closet for like the one hat or the one pair of gloves, and just everything just like.
I got goosebumps. I can't wait. My heart now, Annie Bear, is good. I ended up it wasn't fun for a while. And of course, when you have something with your heart, like AFib,
Mhm.
it's like it's really hard for the doctors to catch it when it's happening. It was like this, like, what's that called? Like snipe hunting at
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
But we finally like figured out where it was. I went through a test to see which chambers weren't electrically speaking to one another, and I actually had cryoablation on it. So my sister always told me I was Elsa from when I had a cold heart.
Oh gosh. So let's say hi to a couple of people while we have 2 seconds here. So yeah, Annie Bear's here. She says, "Holy shamoly, JJ, when you were telling your story."
Yeah.
She also said before the show, she said, "Saw dragons and angel clouds here yesterday." Yes, I love seeing the dragons in the clouds.
Mm.
And then and she's also seeing more little flashes in nature too. Yes, and actually, the picture that I posted on my community tab was actually is if you haven't seen it, go check it out after. But it's actually of
Yep.
a dragonfly that
Yeah.
landed on me. So I went and did a photo shoot, and I was standing there after the photo shoot, and it landed on my sleeve
Yeah.
and just sat there and like started cleaning its face and everything. And apparently one of the mythologies of dragonflies is that they're dragons that are stuck here on Earth because they're shapeshifters. They're stuck in
No.
that form. That's why they're called
No.
dragonflies.
I
But
didn't know that.
yeah, so the fact that it landed on me and it was like right after this photo shoot, that's for my graduation in December. I'm like,
Yeah.
of course, I'd see it as a sign because I have dragonflies that show up all the time for me. They're one of my little like spirits, like, hey. So yeah, that was really interesting. Oh, and then Moira's here too. Hi, Moira. Thanks for being here. And Leia's here as well. She says, hi, girls. Hello. Oh, and then Annie Bear said she really wants to learn Reiki. I think I'm doing
Yeah.
some. And that's the thing with Reiki. Everybody is capable of doing it. The only difference with the training and stuff that happens is it's just expanding your ability to like channel more energy. So I think Richie actually, when you guys were talking about your Sedona retreat, had mentioned the description I gave him, which was given to me by my teacher, that it's basically like a straw. So everybody has a little cocktail straw. But then with your level 1, you get like a regular drinking straw. And then your level 2, you get like one of those like boba tea straws or like milkshake straw.
Yeah.
And then up from there, you get like your garden hose. And then like your master level is like fire hose, like, pull you over if you stand in front of it kind of energy.
Yeah.
So everybody is capable of doing it, which is what I love about Reiki, as anyone can do it.
Yeah, and after I was attuned for the attunement 1 or Reiki 1, I was sitting on the couch, and my kids were little. And so my kids were cuddling on the couch with me, and their friend was visiting, and I was sitting there, and I must have just been like, my hands just started to do the Reiki without even thinking about it because of love. It's like I just loved the kids that I was near, mine and are my friends. And
well, that's what was like the convincing that I'm like, I need to do this, because I'd just be sitting there in meditation or something, and my hands, like my palms would just start burning, and I'm like, okay, like they're starting to nag. They do that.
Yeah. And it is fun, Annie, if your husband will join you. It's really fun to practice on one another.
Yes, and she's doing it on Rosie. So yeah, you can do it on pets as well. You just need to ask permission first, because they of course can't speak, English or speak our language. You just need to ask permission first to their higher selves, and then you're more than free to offer your services. I mean, I did it on a horse. I went along with a friend who had a horseback riding lesson, and he was an older horse, so had lots of joint issues and stuff. Yeah. While we were brushing him and getting him ready, I just put my hands on him, and she was like, he's not a very, he doesn't like people touching him. She's like, just be careful. And he actually started falling asleep.
Yeah. Oh, I love those videos of the horses when they yawn.
Yep. the head just starts going lower and lower.
Yeah. Aww.
But yeah, we were going to talk about dragons today. I mean, we can talk about anything we want. It's
yeah, we can. We can do whatever we want. It's our party.
But in prelude to that, I actually brought down. So I have 4 dragons I work with mainly. They've actually kind of come as my journey has progressed. But I have a little representation of each of them that's on my altar upstairs. So the first one that appeared was Mei Li, who is my Reiki dragon. So he actually appeared the day I got my Reiki 1 attunement. And so he is represented by this little dragon here. So he's more like the, I guess you call it like the Asian style dragon.
Yeah.
But you can't really tell with the lighting very well, but he's kind of teal, blue, green kind of combination. And so he's the one I always work with when I'm doing, removing stuff from people's auras, when I'm doing my Reiki or whatever. I kind of like will throw it to him and be like, hey, can you help me get rid of this ick, like this ick that I'm taking out of this person, or things like that. He also finds any of the spiritual work I do highly amusing. So when I was doing my channeling course, we did stuff with like heart flame and like working with the different elements. So we were doing the element of fire. And I just had this image of him just kind of like sitting there supervising, but like laughing at me, being like this little human trying to control fire. His personality is like Falcor from like Neverending Story is like the best description I have of him, because he's a little bit on the older side. He's not the oldest one I work with, but he's like he's kind of like grandfather energy, I guess, would be the way I describe him.
I love it.
And then there's Nazreen, who's represented by this dragon here. And she's actually my creativity dragon, or I call her my creativity dragon. So she appeared when again, in my channeling course, we were doing different keys. So you go up into it's a meditation you do. So you go up into your sanctuary and get keys for different things, or for different, so like one was creativity. And I had this dragon appear and give me her horn as the key for my creativity. So I call her my like creativity dragon.
Wow.
So she's one I need to work with a bit more often. I don't make enough time for her. And then the one after that showed up that I initially thought was for somebody else, but ended up being mine. So it's represented by this one here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it with the coloring, but it's actually like sparkly. And that's because, so this is Magellan. Magellan is actually a galactic dragon. So he's entirely made of like stars and galaxies and everything. And he's like super, super, super ancient. And he came about when I was working on the galactic stuff with my teacher. And so I ended up channeling him. I actually find channeling the dragons super easy comparatively to like the archangels and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's just because like, their energies are a bit easier. But he talked so slowly. It's almost like Captain Kirk in like the original Star Trek. So it would be like, hello, how are you? Like it was you're just like, okay. But again, he just kind of hangs out and just supervises. Like he's just very like, you guys are good. I'm just gonna be here in case you need me. I'll be around. And then the most recent one is represented by this little guy here. And he's my gold dragon. So his name is Rainier, like the mountain. Yeah. And he actually came to me in human form initially. And he basically was just said to me, I'm here to help you with the next stage of your journey. And so he's a gold dragon.
Was he wearing armor, like special armor?
No.
And when he was in human form?
Honestly, he appeared actually very much like I had a teacher growing up that I had a very strong connection with, and he appeared very much like him, but like not him. Now anymore, he appears just as his dragon self. Yeah. But You're gonna laugh, but he's almost like a service dragon, like a service animal, but like in dragon form.
Yeah.
Because anytime I'm doing journey work or anything and I like get scared or I struggle to get up into my sanctuary and they're in the right headspace, I'll basically just call him in. I can put my hand on him and boom, I'm up in my sanctuary.
Awesome.
So yeah, he's like a service dragon.
I love that you call it your sanctuary. I've never heard
Yes.
it called that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's that little like space where you go, behind your normal thinking brain.
Yeah.
And it's changed over time too, which is very interesting. I had a sanctuary when I first started all this journey work stuff, and within the last, I'd say 4 months, it's completely different now, which is a whole other story. It's I show up the one time, I'm like, where am I? What's going on?
You're like, hello? Which door did I go through?
Yeah, because my initial sanctuary was in like almost like, so it was like stone and like wooden doors and like bookshelves, and eventually it expanded out and there was like a greenhouse attached to it and everything, which is what I was used to going into. Now it's a ship, like a wooden like sailing ship.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah. So,
creaky. Yeah. Cool.
but yeah, it's just very interesting.
That reminds me, one of the reasons
I was laughing at her comment. I want a service dragon. All you have to do is ask.
Can you imagine getting on the airplane? It's like, no, really.
This is my dragon. I mean, you technically have a dragon.
I do have a dragon. Yeah. He's like, why are you in the office with your light on this late?
He's like, oh, my eyes.
Yeah. I remember one book when I was younger, well, in my 20s, and one of the things it talked about was creating a room like that. And I was really fortunate to come across that when I was in my 20s. Yes. And it was so fun to like, in the book, they were kind of like, picture it, behind your eyes, kind of like in the middle of your head somewhere, like this room, and it didn't even have to, I mean, it could be a cave or whatever, but at the time it
can literally be anything. Like somebody
anything.
I know is like, it's a cloud.
Yeah. And you get to decorate it.
Yeah.
And you can change it, and you can change it as many times as you want. And that really helped me because I had a really hard time with meditation.
Yes.
Yeah. And so having that room that I could go visit, I didn't have to stay there long, but it was just nice to like, that was my first kind of creative visions, was creating that. So super fun.
Well, it's a nice place to go because if you're ever wanting to like talk to different guides or anything too, it's a safe space that's yours that like only good things can come into.
Yeah.
So you can go up there, you can bring in your higher self, and then you can call in like like Archangel Michael, let's say, or like any of the ascended masters, and that you can leave. I've always learned too that it's a place you can leave to do your journey work, so it's kind of like home base. See, it's a very interesting concept. It was all introduced to me with like the channeling course I did, of course. But yeah, if I don't know if anybody else has a sanctuary kind of area that they go to when they do their meditations or anything like that, it'd be interesting to hear. So
I'm feeling all sorts of things. While you're sharing, where do we want to go first? I forgot to mention I went to Shamanic Energy Medicine School, and which was so awesome. I got to like live in my my husband created this really cool like small RV, and it had solar panels and everything. And one of the places the class was being held, the one in the US, was my favorite place, Joshua Tree. So I got to hang out for a whole month, and I treasured it so much because, it was like me time, and I had, 2 kids, a husband, a business, and dog, it's like, it was
Get
like
away.
a whole month of like, every day it was like morning till nighttime, just taking classes. So it was really special. But speaking of like the shamanic ways, when we're talking about the dragonfly, and we're talking about the shamanic stuff, because I just saw that there was a fire that we can gather around, like all of us right now, and whoever sees this later, if you pop in later, hello and welcome.
Yeah.
But if we just play pretend, which are little inner children, or maybe even just our adult selves, just inviting yourself to this beautiful fire. The fire is inviting you. And when you're coming to a space like this, play around with, is it nighttime? Can we see the stars? Is it daytime? Are there any animals in the distance, like a coyote? Just really play around, and there are no wrong answers. It's just fun. And then you can see, does the fire need to be serviced at all, or is it okay? And just ask the fire, like, how may I be of service, and follow that. What they really want to do is focus on is, when we get those quiet eyes that are a little bit out of focus, when you're looking at a fire or looking at a candle, and you just kind of relax, and your whole day drops away. It just drops down, like, like if you had a magic cape and you were all done doing your superhero stuff, and we're relaxing, and we just drop our day down. And it's okay if it falls to the floor. It really likes the floor, the cape that did all of the work. So it loves it. It recharges. So we just kind of shrug out of our day. Like if we were, maybe if we were visiting another, if we were off planet, say, and we had like a space suit on, we can just, like, we're comfortable here by the fire. We just take off our traveling suit as well, and just really be here as our soul self, our inner crystal, so to speak. Like if you were if to the core of you is this beautiful crystal, whether it was solid or liquid or whatnot, just dreamily look into this fire, and just think about what your inner treasure looks like. Is it multifaceted? Is it smooth? Does it have something to do with angels or winged ones, or maybe the slithering snake, or the ones that swim in the water? Just really having a lovely time here by the fire. Inviting in the temples. Papanu Patuyanota, the rock temples. Yatyanushtata, in places where the rocks are red, like Sedona. Patutiama Manuyaushtatana. Yanutiama, the rock temple. Kutianushtita, the red rock. Una yewa tutiama kushtitaiwa. Just really connecting to special places for you, special places. Your sacred places. Where you're okay sitting there and watching the moon rise and the stars come out, and the moon setting. It's like being there requires nothing. It's just simple to be there. In the stone temple. It's like moving closer as like a tower of rock would sound. It's like slowed. It's like, I'll be there in a second. I'm coming to the fire. I'll move, adjust here and adjust there, to get to where I wanted to be by the fire with you kind people. And they say that the dragon energy, it's almost like the fire is warming up the red rock. And if you feel called to, you can put your bare your bare feet on the cool ground, and they say you can put your forehead or your hands or lean on the warm rock. Atunu no shtata for the dragon healing, as if it's the best, like tutomo shtata kuyawa, like mbantu tomo shtatawa shtata, like the best heat that you could have to really just relax. Relax into this healing, like full body relaxation without even knowing some of those muscles are tight, just seeing your whole body relax.
I'm getting to, if people want to meet their dragons, they just need to ask at this time and just keep your senses aware, and they'll come in. They'll introduce themselves.
And some of the dragons are a little shy. I see them kind of peeking, and they'll just be like, well, I'll just show you my limbs.
Little peek of a nose.
It's just like an introduction or a hello again. And speaking of moving energy in a dragon way, like feeling, if some people feel like they might have like the bony, spiky wings coming out of the back and emerging, or they might be different feeling, like just allow that to play out. This is a protected, safe place. And always, if it's in your best and highest good. I do see some people, like on their chest, I see as if there's the protecting scales emerging, because it's protecting the heart treasure, the treasure of the heart. And I see this being visible in your energy area around the chest, and how gorgeous. And that's the first part. I feel like there'll be a second dragon session,
Sure.
where we go somewhere else with our dragons. And if anybody wanted to play around with that on their own, it's the shamanic way of following the smoke and the sparks as they go up and shape shifting. I'll give you those tips and tricks, but whatever you come up with, it good.
I know you just said something about hearts and dragons.
Yeah.
There was one more thing I forgot to grab from that I didn't bring down from upstairs that I now have to go and grab, because you said hearts and dragons. So give me 1 second, everybody. I have to run upstairs for 2 seconds.
Good. So if you go back and you watch this and you're ready for the second part, and you can watch this as many times as you want, or just figure out how to meet up with your dragon, and or whatever it looks like, dragonfly, whatever it is works for you. You just kind of ask your dragon to take you on a trip, and you follow. And of course, you drink water, have plenty of time to do this, and make sure you come back fully.
Yes.
I always had a hard time with that.
So this is a picture I drew. It was the same day that Rainier came into my life. So it was the summer solstice this year. And when we went into the dragon meditation, we were, one of the things was they gave you a gift. And so he gave me a gift of basically like a heart flame, but it's a dragon heart flame. And so I drew.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So as soon as you said like dragon wrapped around your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love, like, when I saw it kind of emerged as if it was kind of like sparkling and like, here I am, but it's like not everybody sees it, not everybody sees it, but it's there. Yeah.
Well, actually, I started a couple of comments while we were doing the little journey there.
Yeah.
Oh, so a couple of people popped in too, but so I guess, is it Chaley or Chally? Said, I love dragons. I'm able to see them.
That's great.
Ness popped in as well. Ness is here. But there was a couple. Oh, and Diane G is here as well, and Laurie Hunsinger.
Yay!
But one of the questions that came up was, I was curious, what do dragonflies have to do with shamanism? And he did do a little reply, but maybe we can have a little discussion on that. She said, each animal and insects will have a gift or a purpose they share with humans who pay attention to the ways of nature. Shamans walk through the world. So I've always seen them as, like a messenger, much like birds or any other creatures. But I'd like to hear your thoughts, JJ or Tuta. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Tuta because, it goes to like the animal oracle cards I have, and it's like, oh, transformation, but I'm really curious what Tuta has to say. See if it's different. I'm getting a no, it's not different. It's pretty much what Annie Bear was saying, and I bet a lot of people here already know, is when you observe the animal and kind of figure out what it means for you, and it changes.
Yes, it does.
It changes. The meaning changes. So it's pretty much like a personal thing. So I'm curious who asked that question. I'm really curious. Like
it was a Charlie or Chaley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when our spirit friends, or like just the idea of putting our forehead, like being invited to put your forehead somewhere. I love that. It's like a third eye to third eye.
I'm just going to check something super quick on my iPad here, because at one point I know, like, I don't have a spirit animal book, but I have a friend that does, like the medicine book. So I'm going to see if I still have the little like picture she took for me of like what the dragonfly medicine is. Oh, here it is. Yes, I do. Look at that. So everybody's okay with a little story time.
Yes.
All right. So dragonfly, it says, is illusion. So it says dragonfly medicine is of the dream time and the illusionary facade we accept as physical reality. The iridescence of dragonflies' wings reminds us of colors not found in every day. Dragonflies' shifting of color, energy, form, and movement explodes into the mind of the observer, bringing vague memories of a time or place where magic reigned. Some legends say that dragonfly was once dragon, and that dragon had scales like dragonfly's wings. Dragon was full of wisdom and flew through the night, bringing light with its fiery breath. The breath of dragon brought forth the art of magic and the illusion of changing form. Then dragon got caught in its own facade. Coyote tricked dragon into changing form, and the shape of its new body became like dragonflies. In accepting the challenge to prove its power and magical prowess, dragon lost its power. Dragonfly is the essence of the winds of change, the messages of wisdom and enlightenment, and the communications from the elemental world. This elemental world is made up of the tiny spirits of plants and of the elements air, earth, fire, and water. In essence, this world is full of nature spirits. If dragonfly has flown into your cards, this is paired up with a card deck, today you may have forgotten to water your plants, or on another level, you may need to give thanks to the foods you eat for sustaining your body. On the psychological level, it may be time to break down the illusions you have held that restrict your actions or ideas. Dragonfly medicine always beckons you to seek out the parts of your habits which you need to change. Have you put on too much weight, or have you started to look like a scarecrow? Have you tended to the changes you have wanted to make in your life? If you feel the need for change, call on Dragonfly to guide you through the mists of illusion to the pathway of transformation. See how you can apply the art of illusion to your present question or situation. And remember that things are never completely as they seem. So there is a contrary. So I guess if the card came out reverse. And it says, are you trying to prove yourself or someone else that you have power? Are you caught in an illusion that weakens your true feelings or minimizes your abilities? If so, you may have contracted dragonfly dive bombing. Is this the final crash and burn for some pipe dream that had no real purpose? Look within and feel the sense of self-energy within yourself. Notice if it is ebbing and find the point in time when you were deluded into believing that you would be happier if you changed because someone else wanted you to.
Wow.
Misery is a prime clue that you have lost your will and personal validity when you bought into someone else's idea of who or what you should be. The illusion was that you would be happier if you did it their way. In forfeiting what you know is right and true for you personally, you give away your power. It is time for you to take it back. Follow Dragonfly to the place inside your body where magic is still alive and drink deeply of its power. This strength belongs to you. It is the power of becoming the illusion. This ability is ever-changing and contains within it the knowledge that you are creating it all. I just get chills reading all of that.
Yeah, when you said invite, the dragonfly in, it just like went like right inside.
And there's a little poem they have with it as well.
Yeah.
So it says, Dragonfly breaks illusions, brings visions of power. No need to prove it. Now is the hour. Know it, believe it. Great Spirit intercedes, feeding you, blessing you, filling with all your needs.
Ooh.
But yeah, so that's from the Animal Medicine deck / book.
Cool.
It's on my Amazon wish list.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I hope everybody got a little message out of that. Your dragonfly message for the day.
Yes, my plants needed a drink like a week ago.
Oh no! I've kept mine alive so far. I have one of those peace lilies. And so it'll like start getting droopy if I haven't watered it in a while. And so I remember to then water it and then water everything else when I water it. So
that's how I do it. Yeah.
It's the reminder plant for everybody else. The only other thing I have is spider plants, and they thrive on being neglected. So.
Yeah.
But does anybody else have like questions in regards to dragons? Maybe for TUTAH? That maybe she could answer for us, or I also have a dragon deck that I pulled off my shelf. So my thought was to maybe do that for the collective at the end. I'll do a little dragon reading.
Yeah, I would love that. And maybe if you have any aches or pains, I'd really love to play around with the dragon energy. Like right now, I can feel like my throat tightening up a little bit. Yeah. So if anybody out there has like
I always picture the kind of Asian style dragon like wrapping itself up and around us, almost like the Kundalini energy, but like dragon energy.
Yeah. Yes. TUTAH says yes. Oh, I wanted to thank you, Annie. I wanted to talk about that because you said you felt like the spine is related to to your dragon. Yeah, that happened to me when I was in Sedona. When I go on these retreats there, I had my friend Sue came with me, and we always do like Spirit always has us do some like wild stuff. Like, one time I gave her like a new heart. Well, actually, she's had several heart transplants.
Yep.
Energetically, like she just burns out of them, and they're like, okay, we'll treat this one better. and so she was doing energy work on me, and I had this huge, like, I felt like I was so much taller, like filling up the room, standing up straight because I'm like a natural sloucher.
Right.
And it was like I stood in my power and my dragon came out. It was like kind of like Godzilla. So that was really fun. And I kept hearing like, because I went to this Peace Park. It's like this Buddhist like beautiful sanctuary, beautiful place that the monks created. And it's like I'm stomping up the stairs, and like the dragon is saying, who thought it was a good idea to like, you kind of like put me in a closet or take me out of the game. Like he was he's like, wait till I get up to Buddha and I'm going to yell at him. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Even my friend was scared. Yeah. She's like, I'm just scared. I'm going to stay over here. But that was spine related for me.
Is that the name that you got, Annie? They do have some interesting names sometimes. Like with any spirit guides, they have like their name and then their like English name that we as humans can pronounce, because a lot of their names I think we just can't pronounce. We don't have the physical ability to. But Ness was saying they had a PTSD treatment and they saw a tiger emerge from within them instead of a dragon. I would say that maybe the tiger is your like a spirit animal of some sort or guide. Because we have spirit teams working with us, right? So for some people it's dragons, for others it could be tigers, for others it could be I don't know, TUTAH.
Yeah,
you could have a TUTAH,
because like the human in me was just like, what do I call you? And
right.
And it seemed like it changed. Like people could hear like Hebrew words, and I don't hear Hebrew. Some people heard Hawaiian sentences, and so it's like different people come through. It's like a beautiful like congregation that helped me, and they say you can just call us TUTAH if you have to call us anything. And so
even over the last year I've known you more or less, like depends on the day, like sometimes it sounds more like Asian kind of dialect, and then like some days it's like Aboriginal kind of dialect. It really changes, and it's so interesting. Sometimes they're like really rushy about it because there's something important they want to say, and then there's some days where they're just like, we're all just gonna lean back, in our massage chairs, just chill out, watch a movie, pop some popcorn. But Lori was
when spirit comes through really fast, it's like, it's nice that the message gets out there, but it's like it's hard to like listen to it as it's coming out at the same time. So I really have to just be like, okay, go for it. Just say it.
Go. But Lori said she was drawn to wear a dragonfly necklace. Her daughter gave her a few weeks ago, and now she understands why.
The urgency, right?
You were meant to be here tonight.
The urgency. So Kaylee had to go upstairs and get her dragons. It's like right before I was outside collecting like all my Y sticks. They're like, the Y sticks want to come.
Giant branch.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I think you're meant for the shamanic path when you're like the feather rock stick collector of the family.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I want to show you this. This is called a spirit doll, and anybody can make it. I made this. That. Yeah, I made this when I was with some women, and this was like the craft. And so you take two, like for me, it was 2 Y sticks, of course. So it's like 2 Y sticks for the top and 2 Y sticks for the bottom.
Okay, yeah.
And you can put some stuffing in, however. And mine has some feathers and
love that
seed pod. I gave it like some shamanic little fur pants.
I love that.
Very fashionable. And they were carrying a stick. You could see like the glue on the hands.
Need to re-glue it.
The stick is gone. So
I'll find a new stick then.
But they're really fun, and sometimes you can like fold up a little message. Like I would think it would be like a fun thing to do, like in January, like or even if it's a gift for somebody, you just like wrap up like a little prayer or something. So it's like it's really fun. I found her today. Yeah.
Dan was saying that she has an inner dragon in the root chakra.
Ooh. I see it like curled up. Like it likes to be in the root of things. That's its element. It really loves to be by the root of something.
I just read Annie Bear's comment here about like it's a Star Nation kind of dragon, and like I mean, as I said, I have a galactic dragon. Like the best, I call him a galactic dragon only because he literally is just made of stars. Like he's not what I would call like a concrete 3D like touchable. He's just like essence almost. So definitely possible, especially with all the galactic stuff becoming more prevalent right now. they're definitely moving in to help us shift the energy and stuff like that. Shaylee said Edna is my main spirit guide's name. I like that name.
And I think somebody had Paula.
Yeah, Diane, Paula. There's sometimes where I'm like, are you sure that's your name? And they're like, yep. And he says, sometimes I have 2 or 3 voices at the same time. And anyone know what this is?
I like the 3 voices coming in at it's kind of like they're they didn't like, I don't think they meant to all show up at the same time. But they really like the coming in on that frequency and that vibration of the others.
Are they beings or creatures? Annie, do you know what as well? Like, you can reply as well. Like, are they more like, you know, animal kind of creature elemental types, or do you think they're more? So yeah, if it's like galactic centered. So lately, when I've been doing a lot of work, the Star Mothers seem to come in, and they come in as a collective group, and they are a very, very strong energy when they do come in. Healing work for myself personally. So maybe ask them if they're the Star Mothers, because that wouldn't surprise me if they're coming and talking to you, Annie Bear. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Especially, I think, Annie, you also have like Lemuria kind of connections and stuff like that too, and that has come up recently for me. I was actually rewatching the video JJ, you and Annie and Richie did about it. I actually rewatched the video because Annie was also talking here about feeling whale energy. Funny that you said whale energy, because I'm wearing my whale shirt.
Yeah.
Does TUTAH have anything to say about the whale energy, maybe? I know we're talking about dragons, but, you know, sea dragons.
I think they, you know, they're going... So I saw the dragon, especially like a galactic one, like your representation that you have right there, kind of being cloaked in its own element, which is really nice, like in a chameleon kind of way. And I see them, they have an important job of it. Almost, I want to like explore, how do dragons create? They're creating.
Yes.
Yeah. Almost as if like what they create is the seed of something that will affect us in the future. Like maybe that's where we live, is what they're creating, type thing. Like a home of some sort. And but the whale, they instantly showed me it as a constellation. So it's also star related. Yeah. And when you were talking,
which show it is, but there's like star whales. I mean, I think they show up in Doctor Who, but I think there's another series too where there's star whales. That's
cool. When we were talking about Annie Bear and you were, you know, commenting on like Lemuria, there is this really beautiful, it's like I'm wearing this, you know, like this crystal.
I love that.
Yeah, the green stones, the green crystals, the green keepers. They want to be called keepers. They're not in packed soil anymore, Annie Bear. And for anybody else who can feel them, it's like a call. It's almost like when you put like a magnet here, you know, and like the other part of the magnet here, and it's just like, you can kind of feel it saying, hey, come over here, and you can't not like move over there. But they're beautiful. I see them as I'm seeing them right now. It's like a big cluster of like, there's some towers, some little towers, but they're green and they're shiny. So it's almost like they're ready to put on their their show, or appear, because I don't see them in darkness, or packed with dark. So it's like, it's not that they're rising, it's that it's almost as if they're just there. It's really weird.
I almost get like unveiling, like they've been cloaked, but
Yeah.
there's an
Yeah.
unveiling
Yes.
happening.
I was getting the Lady of the Lake. When King Arthur goes up, and it's like it's all fog, and it's like, are you supposed to see through the fog or travel through the fog? Yeah.
It just has to be the right timing on the right day at the right time.
Yeah.
Oh, Diane was saying that whales remind her of Sirius B.
Ooh.
And very true, Annie Mary. She says, guardians abound. Very true. And that's true, too. There's probably more than one Lemuria. I don't know. Oh, there. She says there's 5. There you go. That answers that question.
Things that make you go,
Well, that's the thing with this Lemurian past life that came up. It literally came out of nowhere. And I wasn't being like, I want to have a Lemurian past life. It was just like, wham, past life. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. But no.
Well, yeah, the tug from the green crystals, or the green keepers, it's pulling some of you.
Can you tell what type of crystal? Because I know there's a bunch of different green crystals. I know Peridot is one that is green, and it's actually galactic as well. I think it was created from meteorites coming to Earth. So I'm curious if it's that or a different crystal.
I'm not getting an answer on that. No.
That's okay. Maybe we're just not supposed to know yet.
Not me to know. Not for me to know.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Annie had that question since we mentioned Lemuria.
TUTAH, do you recognize Lemuria? Tama o katutonuma. They're inviting somebody forward if they want to speak or do whatever they do. Yeah, I feel like she's not young, but she's not old. But like living in that is different than here with our lives, our lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
It's distant. It's like there's something important about the waterfall. It's almost as if the waterfall flows the other way. There's something very special about it, and I'm seeing the cross that has like the flared ends. I don't remember what cross that is. And I can see that she has like there's a bracelet that's important, or they're just showing me the bracelet. It's white. Could be the whale. Could be the whale bone. The whale bone. With whale. And she's reminding me of the exercise of when your eyes soften when you're gazing at the fire or the candle, and how we can travel. Before we were talking about like just asking the dragon, where should we travel? Do you have any advice? Or, you know, going with the sparks, or going with the flame, or going with the heat up above. She's saying the whales, ti anu, ka ta kuna ya tiao tiao tiao. And again, they're showing me it's astral, because it's like I see like these golden, like these yellow train tracks, but it's like a crescent moon, or, you know, it's just like celestial features along the train tracks.
I love that.
Yeah. But they're there if anybody ever wants to chit chat with them. It might take a little while, but yeah,
their timing is different than our timing.
Yeah.
But Lori was saying, I like the unveiling aspect when we were talking about the green stones. And they kept envisioning the seahorses morphing into beautiful dragons swimming in the oceans.
Ooh.
Well, maybe like the dragonfly, the seahorses are sea dragons or water dragons.
It's like Annie Bear needs to write a story. I always do this to Annie Bear. I always give her a nudge of the
story, Annie.
Yeah. Stories, or a picture, or some sort of channeling of this idea of these big, beautiful helpers, or I'm sure there's some destroyers as well, these big dragons, but they are looking through life as like, even if they're like little dragonfly, like, what is it, larvae, or yeah, and just knowing like you have this dragon heart, but you're so little. I wonder what that would be like. Yeah.
Well, the other thing with dragonflies too is they start out in the water and go to the air, so they're the connection between those two elements, the water and the air.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And Annie says thank you. Now I just want popcorn. So I got my dragon deck out because I know I mentioned that I was going to maybe do a collective reading for us for my dragon deck. So it's called the Dragon Riders Oracle. And I actually, again, bought this deck this year. So I was born in 1988. So I'm actually a year of the dragon. So yeah. So I'm like, okay, it's the year of the dragon this year. And I'm a dragon. And I'm like, I need to have a dragon deck. So I bought the deck for myself. Yeah. And actually I was telling JJ backstage, my teacher called me Dragon Lady. And not in like the you know, sense of like the usual meaning of a dragon lady. No, she just meant that I have a bunch of dragons.
They're mentioning tattoos, the dragon tattoos. Even if it's a temporary one.
Yes.
Yeah, for you.
Get one? Deal. Yeah. All right. Collective cards, please, and thank you. Right, that's one apparently. I'll do one more. It's interesting that that came out, actually. It'll work perfect. It may just be the one too, but we'll see. Ooh, yep. Let's do those two. Those work well with what we were just actually talking about today. So the first one that came out, so the way that this deck works is that they have a dragon and it's paired with an ascended master. So you get a message basically from both.
Cool.
So this one is Afriel and Beliza. And it says, a fresh wind is blowing into your life. Believe in your divine guidance and recognize all the gifts along your path.
Oh.
And I just love that the first card that popped out was a white dragon because...
And it looks like a green stone or something or a rock that he's sitting on in it. I'm not sure.
Yes, it does actually. Yeah, it's like a... Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's so interesting. And then the second one I got was Sun God and Esra. It says, free yourself from lies and deception and live your truth. Shine in your own light. Other people's truths are of no use to you. And we were just talking with the dragonfly being about illusion.
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting.
Nice.
So I think the big takeaway is, embrace your inner dragon. Be that flame, be that light. Be fierce.
Or cuddly.
Or be a cuddly dragon.
Oh, dragon
Aww,
time.
I love that, Annie Bear. Wishing you all the sweetest of dragon dreams.
Yay.
Oh, that's good. Dragon too.
Nice.
I always love the golden eye. Dragon has golden eyes. Ooh.
Wow.
I don't know if I've ever gotten at what color my dragon's eyes are. Maybe that's the next.
It's almost like it's what is it called when gold is melting? Is it molten? It's like
like
you could almost travel in those golden eyes.
It's true. Well, we'll definitely have again because I think we're gonna have another journey with our dragons, maybe. So maybe sometime next year we'll do this again.
Definitely.
Thank you for being here, JJ. I had so much fun.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That hour flew by. So if for those that weren't here at the beginning, thank you for those who hung around. But the next show, it was going to be on Vedic astrology. Michelle Marie from Astrological Tarot had to reschedule, so we're actually going to have Dali on, who's Wolf Girl Oracle, and we're going to talk about Norse gods and goddesses. So I hope you can be here in 2 weeks' time. But until then, I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciated it. And for those who are watching back as well, don't forget to leave a little comment if you want. Subscribe so you don't miss out. And we'll see you next time. Everybody have a great night. Bye.